and ESPNNewYork.com. It feels like they just can't let go of some of these veteran names, does it not?
No, you're right. It's not exciting. I mean, the Yankees are going to be a very good team next year, but are they going to add a Josh Hamilton or a big name that you grew accustomed to in the George Steinbrenner years? Most likely they're not, unless they make a big trade, because Hal Steinbrenner's looking towards 2014, and he wants the payroll cut by 10% under $189 million. So you're going to get they have a solid rotation now with Andy Pettitte and Hiroki Kuroda coming back, but it's nothing that's exciting and going to put people in the seats necessarily.
Baton Rouge.
Okay, LSU's Les Miles, a really successful coach. Reportedly, Arkansas opened up the bank to have him walk across the street. Jim Feinpeter, New Orleans Times-Picayune. What are we talking about here? How much money, how many years?
Well, it's $27.5 million for 5 years, which would give Les, about $1.8 million more a year than he's making. I just think this is a trial balloon shot up there by his agent, who also represents Gary Patterson, and Gary Patterson recently told Arkansas no. But I guess while we're on the phone, what would you give Les Miles? And I think that's probably as far as it's going to get, because Les is kind of dug in Baton Rouge. He's 59, and his kids are all teenagers, and they like it there. And this isn't even a lateral move. This would be a step down. He'd still have to face Nick Saban with much less on facilities and spending power, though Arkansas looks like they're ready to ramp it up.
It's your daily sports page, spanning the globe in the herd. Weekdays on ESPN Radio and ESPNRadio.com.
If you'd like an opportunity to go to this weekend's Jet game, the first three callers to 212-268-9222 will line you up, and then we'll play the Sports Case Showdown in the 6 o'clock hour. The Michael K. Show on ESPN New York is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. See how much you could save. Call Geico at 1-800-947-AUTO. Visit Geico.com. We love having on Trent Dilfer, don't we, Don?
Sure.
One of our favorite guests. And whenever I know I'm going to have him on, I try to come up with a question that is going to make him think and also make him think that I've lost my mind. So, Trent, I think I've got one for you. Ready?
Go for it.
All right. Your life is...
No, I don't think very well. But go ahead.
I've seen you. I think you think just fine. All right. Your life is on the line. A football game will decide whether you win and live or lose and stop breathing. You have a choice as your starting quarterback. One of the two Manning brothers, Eli or Peyton. Who are you choosing to be the quarterback to save your life?
This is a good one. Oh, my goodness.
Making you think.
Man, Archie?
Nope,
Yeah.
Archie's out. He's also 67 years old. Come on, Trent.
I know.
Cooper? No, not Cooper either.
Golly, I'm going to go with Peyton, I guess.
Now, I'm going to tell you why that's dangerous. Peyton's the better quarterback, I think, in the regular season, but I think Eli has shown he's a better clutch quarterback.
No, I understand that. I understand that argument. I think some of that's circumstantial. I love them both. I mean, you're putting me in a position because now all of a sudden people are like, whoa, still for like Peyton more than Eli.
Comes with a job.
I like them both.
That's why you make the big money.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Peyton, and I guess it'd probably be just the line of scrimmage mechanics. I think if it's a game to save my life, I want my quarterback to have the keys to the Ferrari and making every decision at the line of scrimmage, getting us in the best play possible and finding the matchups. He's a little more experienced, obviously. But, I mean, it really is a toss-up.
Well, here's why I would go with Eli, and tell me what you think. And I think this could rear its ugly head for Peyton if they go deep into the playoffs at home. I need to know where a game is when it's Peyton, because we have seen a history where if it's outside, if it's cold, if it's snowy, you're not getting the same quarterback. Eli has proven wind, rain, dome, Lambeau Field. It seems like it doesn't matter where the game's played when it's Eli.
I agree with that. I mean, that's a great argument. I think the one thing that's going to change about Peyton this year is Peyton knows who he is more so now than ever from a talent standpoint, and you've seen it show up even this year. It's like he has some opportunities to make some really challenging downfield throws in the middle of games, and he's been a little more conservative. He picks his spots. He still can do it. He still can challenge the whole field with his arm. He just does it less often and shows a little more patience. I think they're going to be very dangerous because they'll be able to possess the ball. This is the Denver Broncos and Peyton Manning. He's not going to take unnecessary chances. He likes his underneath receivers, the Stokely security blanket. I think he likes his tight ends for the possession game. Likes Decker a lot underneath. And he's going to force the defense to kind of come to him and create more of a downhill mode. The thing that's always scared me about Eli, and it's my only knock on him, is that sometimes he just doesn't know when to take the easy completion. He's so aggressive as a passer that he'll continue to push the ball down the field when defenses want him to push the ball down the field. And Peyton was the same way as a young player. But he's so wise. I think he's really going to dictate the terms as the season goes on and really understand who he is in cold weather.
Talking with Trent Dilfer, it's time now for the Big Blue Report, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Massapequa. And I guess following sports as long as we have, maybe we should know this, but you look at the Giants and what they did against the Packers, Trent, and then before the bye week, how poorly they played against Cincinnati. It's becoming clearly apparent to me as time goes by that teams just don't play the same every single week. They don't get up for the certain teams the way they get up for other ones. That's a different Giant team Sunday night than the one that played against Cincinnati, and it can't be all the week off.
I don't think it's all the week off, and I just struggle with the term get up. In my 14 years playing, I thought the temperament of the team was usually pretty much the same. On Sunday, I thought the biggest difference was the week of preparation, and I really, and you guys lived it. I mean, I'm sitting out here in California. I have no idea how impactful Sandy was. But you know, this NFL mantra, "There's no excuses," is baloney. There are reasons teams don't play well. There are reasons teams don't prepare well. There are reasons teams have slumps, and I think Sandy was a huge reason why we saw the Giants struggle there for a little bit. They got to recharge their batteries. Preparation was better. And I think that's really at the end of the day why we saw, you know, kind of the fiddle-faddle of the Giants for those couple weeks, was the circumstances surrounding them as a team, the city, their families, the day-to-day routines that were broken, the concern for others around them. I think those are all real reasons why we saw it with the Giants. That's why I held true to what I said about the Giants all year long. I think their upside, their ceiling, is as good as anybody's in the NFL.
That was going to be my question. When they're at their best, assuming that Sunday was their best, how many teams could beat them when they play that way?
Not many. Not many, because I think they're really well coached. I think the guys understand the schemes really well. They know how to disguise their weaknesses, and every team in this league has some holes. This is the salary cap reality that everybody has some holes. I think the Giants coaching staff knows how to disguise those. I think offensive line continuity, that group's playing together. They're comfortable where they're at position-wise. Now I think that the running back injury affects them a little bit. They lose their hammer. But I think Bradshaw has that potential. If he can stay healthy, he can, you know, have more carries and kind of be the hammer in the short yards as well. So, they're going to be tough to beat if they're clicking on all cylinders and stay healthy.
That's the Big Blue Report, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Massapequa. Visit Mercedes-Benz of Massapequa for a huge selection of new Mercedes-Benz 1 mile east of the Westfield Sunrise Mall, or mynewbenz.com. Mercedes-Benz of Massapequa, where they make it happen. Is Jim Harbaugh making the right decision, Kaepernick over Alex Smith?
Once again, a really hard one. I think with the evidence that he's had the last 2 weeks with Colin, it's hard to argue against it. My concern when the initial announcement was made is the potential for this going bad in the playoffs just because of experience. It just takes a young player making a few young player mistakes in big moments in the playoffs to cost you a game that you should win. Now, Colin does some phenomenal things, and he does add an element to this 49ers offense that Alex doesn't bring, that everybody can see. There's a splash value there. The problem, Alex's greatest strengths aren't the things that necessarily show up on the stat sheet. The nuance of the game, that it's the subtle little decisions he's made the last couple of years that helped them win games, I'm afraid could end up costing them a game if he's not on the field. But once again, those coaches have seen this every day, and you see Colin and his potential and how dynamic he can be, and these quarterback-driven runs and advantages it gives him in the red zone. His arm talent to challenge the entire field. I understand the decision. I don't necessarily agree with it.
I got about 30 seconds, Trent. You can make a case the Jets will be favored in all 5 games they'll play the rest of the year. Chances that they can run the table?
None. I just think and I think a couple weeks ago I said that, if they could have won that one game, it looks good coming home, but they make things look too hard. I'm just going to simplify. I said 30 seconds, I'll give you 5 more. They make the simplest things look hard, and that's the definition of dysfunction.
Yeah, it hasn't been pretty, that's for sure. I know we gave you tough ones today, Trent. Thanks for coming on, as always.
Yeah, that was your guys' A game, man. I got to prep better next time.
We'll talk to you soon.
See you guys.
All right, that's Trent Dilfer. You can see more of him on ESPN all the time and on Monday Night Football. He's a great football mind. Big game for the Knicks coming up against the Bucks. It's a game against the Bucks. Okay, yeah, whatever. It's the 14th game of the year. Yeah, whatever. But there's some important things they have to start finding out about themselves. This is a game that they should win, but they could lose. We'll break it down. We have Tim Legler at 6:15. Kay, LaGreca, and you, ESPN New York 98.7 FM.
What's up, this is Raymond Felton.
Hey, it's Tyson Chandler.
What's up, this is Ronnie Brewer.
Hey, this is J.R. Smith.
What's up, everybody? It's Carmelo Anthony, and this is your home for New York Knicks basketball.
The Knicks have lost 3 of their last 4. Is a matchup against Milwaukee just what they need? Knicks-Bucks coverage gets underway tonight at 7:30 on ESPN New York.
98.7 FM.
I'm a good gift giver. No, a fantastic gift giver. What do I get in return? An unnecessary cheek pinch. I deserve more. So this year, I'm giving Buffalo Wild Wings gift cards. For every $25 I spend, I can get a blazing bonus worth up to $100. So the next time I hear, "Oh, that's so sweet," it better be referring to honey barbecue sauce. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. No purchase necessary. Must be 18 or older. Valid in restaurant at participating locations only, and void in Florida, New York, Rhode Island, and where prohibited by law. Ends 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on December 31st, 2012. See official rules at BuffaloWildWings.com for restrictions and details.
Dear ladies, do you ever talk smack because you got fake points when your fake running back scored a touchdown?
Did I miss the waiter? 'Cause you just got served.
Not your style? Then the bold flavors in Dr. Pepper 10 aren't for you. Because it takes 10 of the toughest calories in the world to contain the full power of Dr. Pepper's flavor. So if you don't get so excited about winning a pretend football game that you break bones on a high five,
My hand!
then you don't get Dr. Pepper 10. It's not for women. Dr. Pepper 10 is an equal opportunity beverage. Anyone can enjoy the taste of Dr. Pepper 10 regardless of status or non-status as a man, woman, or other.
What's up, everybody? It's Carmelo Anthony, and this is your home for New York Knicks basketball.
WEPN FM, WEPN HD1, New York.
Well, the core 3 looks like it's going to return. There are rumors out there and reports that Mariano Rivera is close to a deal with the Yankees, and Andy Pettitte signed his deal with the Bombers today. $12 million one-year deal, $2.5 million in incentive, so Andy Pettitte will return for a season where he will turn 41 years old. Injury-ravaged season for him last year, but he still put up good numbers when he was healthy enough to pitch. Speaking of baseball, Hall of Fame ballots went out today to over 600 BBWAA writers, and there are big names and big decisions that have to be made. Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, and Sammy Sosa are on the ballot for the first time. All of them have been stained with steroid allegations. Also, Craig Biggio, Mike Piazza, and Kurt Schilling among the 24 first-time eligibles. And some old holdovers as well are on the ballot. Jack Morris, who probably will make it this year. He came close last year. He needs 75% of the vote. And Jeff Bagwell and Tim Raines are also on the ballot.
NBA tonight, Knicks in Milwaukee to take on the Bucks, and our coverage right here on ESPN New York will begin at 7:30. Bill Daughtry will do the festivities for the pregame, and then 8 o'clock is the tip-off. You can see that game on MSG television for the second consecutive game. Jason Kidd is out because of back spasms. The Nets will be in Boston to take on the Celtics. Jets survive and advance. That's all they're looking to do is just try to win out and make the playoffs. First up will be the Arizona Cardinals. Hear all the baseball you're talking about. I said Diamondbacks to the Cardinals. Anyway, that game will be on Sunday, and that means that Kerry Rhodes comes back to town. And Rex Ryan talked today about how critical he used to be of Rhodes when he was here, and more specifically when he left.
All that's in the past. I'll say this, and I've mentioned it today. I know one thing: he's on a very impressive defense, and it's one of the best defenses in the league. They're in the top 5 in almost every category, so that's my concern.
And B.J. Upton signed a 5-year deal with the Atlanta Braves, amazingly, 5 years, $75 million. I'll do the math for you, everybody. B.J. Upton, with $255 last year, is going to earn $15 million a year, which will make him the highest paid Atlanta Brave.
K-Money.
This is the Michael K. Show on ESPN New York, 98.7 FM. Here's Michael K. and Don LaGreca.
All right, everybody, we have one more spot available to play in the Sports Case Showdown. We had some problems with the phone, so we have two qualifiers. We need one more at 212-268-9222, and then we'll play the Sports Case Showdown to win a pair of tickets to the Jets and the Cardinals, or as Don said, the Diamondbacks, this Sunday.
What was I thinking?
At MetLife. You were thinking, because I was talking to Upton, who's related to Justin Upton, his brother, and he plays for the Diamondbacks.
I would give Justin that money.
Justin Upton's good.
Not BJ.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, really, my goodness, I don't know what to say. Now, I'm going to talk about the Knicks, but we have a guy that it intrigues me, because let me set it up for everybody. Let me take everybody behind the curtain. We have a computer screen in front of us.
That's right.
That tells you who's on the line and what they want to talk about. And look at Wes from Hoboken. Does that intrigue you?
I don't have Wes from Hoboken on my screen.
All right, Wes from Hoboken. We gave Trent Dilfer the choice. Team, game, for his life.
Right.
He loses, he's dead. Stops breathing.
Right.
Flatlines.
They'll take a Super Bowl ring off his dead, rotting hand.
Right. Peyton or Eli. And he said Peyton, but it was a very tough decision. I think that Don and I would both take Eli.
Yeah, and I gave my reasons. You
All
gave
right.
yours.
Wes he says it's a landslide.
Landslide.
Wes, what's the landslide in favor of who?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good, Wes. How you doing?
Hey, really good. Interesting topic there. I think over the last year, Eli's really sort of acquired this clutch moniker associated with him. But as you look at his career, I think the more appropriate word is streaky. And we've seen Eli, when he's on, be as good as it gets. But we've also seen him go through some patches, even as recent as last year, before they kind of hit their run right before the end of the season, where there were some struggles.
But doesn't it tell you, Wes, that some of the streaks seem to be in playoffs? That would make him clutch.
It does, but I think other than the 2 years that they've gone through and won the Super Bowl, I don't think Eli has a single other playoff win besides those 2 years. So I'll take the guy who's done it every year and wins every game. And for one game, for me, it's Peyton 10 out of 10 times. That, to me, is clutch.
Let me re-ask the question, Wes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's say down 4, 2 minutes to play, one timeout, ball at your own 20. In a Super Bowl, who would you want, Eli or Peyton?
When you frame it that way, you've got to take the guy that you've seen do it before. But I think that what you've seen in Peyton's career, I mean, when 10 wins is a down year for him,
right,
he keeps you out of those positions consistently. Maybe he hasn't done it in the playoffs in the 2 years that Eli's done it the way in that form. But I think Peyton puts his team consistently year over year in more positions to win games.
Yeah, and my point was, Michael, we saw it in the Super Bowl against the Bears where it's raining, or those times in Foxborough where it's freezing cold and it's snowing. Peyton's just a different player. And maybe that's because he spent all the time in the Dome, and maybe, as Trent said, it'll be different in Denver because they seem to run a different offense. But it doesn't matter where the game is. We saw Eli do it in Lambeau.
Peyton seems to be unable to solve the Patriots. Eli has. Yeah. You know what I'm shocked about, Wes? You're going to run into Eli and Abby in the streets of Hoboken.
That's right.
And you're just dissing them right here on the radio. It's sad.
I'll buy him a beer. Maybe he should buy me one.
Well,
That's
maybe you should just go to the other side of Washington Street. That's what you should do.
If anything we did, Wes, I don't think we talked you out of it, but I think we debated the word landslide. Is that fair?
You know what? It's still not for me because I still think when you look at their season-over-season records, I guess what I went back is, we can talk about the word landslide, but I talk about the word clutch. I think clutch is winning every year, and I think clutch is winning as many games as possible every year, and that, to me, becomes Peyton pretty significantly.
But you know what? We can't get caught up in who the better player is. If I ask anybody who follows baseball, Wes, thank you so much for the phone call. If I ask anybody, who would you rather have up in a big spot, Alex Rodriguez or Edgar Renteria? If you paid attention, you'd pick Edgar Renteria.
But if you're getting into the playoffs, Alex Rodriguez.
But there's no question who the better player is. Alex Rodriguez is so much better than Edgar Renteria. But it seems like every time you put Edgar in a big spot, he came through, whether it was in Florida with the Marlins, he won the World Series MVP in 2010 with the Giants. It's a ridiculous conversation out of 162 games, but honestly, who would you take at a big spot? Runner at second, 2 outs, tie game in the 7th game of the World Series. You'd be nuts to take Rodriguez over Renteria.
Now, here's something I also don't understand. I can't knock anybody who says Peyton, but I can knock somebody like Wes, who was a great caller, who said landslide. It was not even a second thought. Peyton has failed a lot in the postseason. Eli has gone off on 2 of the most improbable runs. You could call him streaky all you want, but he went off on 2 improbable runs to win a Super Bowl, one against an undefeated team where he was a heavy underdog, and then against a Patriot team that was 13-3 in the regular season, and everybody thought was going to roll all over him again. I can't say it's a landslide.
Well, there's no question who the better quarterback is. Peyton's got 4 MVPs. But when you narrow it down to that one game, that clutch spot, Eli just seems to have it.
Neil in Fordham does not agree with Wes. Why, Neil?
I hear him defining the word clutch, and I don't know that he knows what it means. So what he's saying is somebody who has a bigger sample size and less wins in those situations, and I'm talking about Super Bowl wins. Obviously, Peyton has more, or I think he has more postseason wins. And you're saying that's the more clutch guy? No, what he's saying is that guy is more consistent, which everybody knows. Everybody knows Peyton Manning's more consistent. But Eli is Eli. You know, he's not gonna put up pretty stats. He's gonna throw 12 to 20 interceptions every year. He's gonna turn the ball over, but you know, and it's not just something that's been acquired over the last year. Perhaps in mainstream media, people are now talking about how Eli is one of the best clutch quarterbacks ever. But anybody who's been watching him for the last 6 or 7 years knows he's always been a great fourth quarter quarterback, and he's always been a great 2-minute quarterback. So, I mean, if you're saying, you know, it's a hypothetical, it's for the fun of conversation, but I just totally disagreed with that last caller, and I think he needs to learn the meaning of the word clutch.
Well, I think you guys should fight.
Now, do you go to Fordham, Neil, or are you just in the Fordham section of the Bronx?
I went to Fordham, and now I'm in the Fordham section of the Bronx.
Well, Neil, you are always welcome on the show if you're a Ram.
You got it.
All right.
Go Rams, yeah.
I'll tell you what, if the question was put to me like this, which Manning would you want to quarterback a 16-game season? That, to me, is a slam dunk.
Slam dunk.
It's Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is one of the great regular season quarterbacks of all time, but now when you add in one game for your life, that's pretty clutch. You want somebody to be clutch. I got to go with Eli, and Don narrowed it down even more. 2 minutes left, 20-yard line, you're down by 4. I'm taking Eli. I'm not taking Peyton. Peyton has shown that he doesn't come up big in those situations. He just does it. I don't know why. I think he's a much better quarterback than Eli.
Maybe that's not fair because maybe this year Peyton will do it and get that monkey off his back. But before they won that Super Bowl against the Bears, there was talk about this guy couldn't win the big game.
Right. He was Alex Rodriguez before the 2009 postseason.
That's right.
He was. That's all there was to it. And he got the monkey off his back, but he's 1-1 in Super Bowls. Eli's 2-0, and against the Patriots twice. One was an unbeatable team. No one thought would ever lose, and he beat them. Now, I think there was some luck in that one, but the pass to Manningham, to me, that was about as clutch as you could be. That was a perfectly thrown ball in a pressure situation.
And maybe we don't give Manningham enough respect for catching it and keeping his feet in bounds, but that play was what great quarterbacks do.
We mentioned it yesterday, and Ryan does listen to us. We have not had legs on for a while.
Which is awful.
I mean, we've got to have more legs. Tim Legler will break down what's up with the Knicks and how good the Nets are. Stick around. Tim Legler joins us. Kayla, Greca, you and Legler. ESPN New York, 98.7 FM.
Knicks head coach Mike Woodson with Stephen A. Smith and Ryan Rucco.
When you got 4 guys that are averaging in double figures with JR and Raymond Felton and Tyson, and then you add Melo to the mix, that's pretty good. You know, we're averaging 103 points a game. We got to stay on pace of where we are until we're able to get Amari in our rook bag. 2 other pieces that should help us on both ends of the floor.
Knicks coach Mike Woodson every week all season long with Stephen A. and Ryan Rucco on ESPN New York, 98.7 FM.
Make this Christmas come to life with a fresh-cut Fraser fir Christmas tree from Lowe's for only $19.98. Plus, take something home to put under the tree, like the 70-piece Cobalt Drill Driver Set for only $14.98. That's a savings of $25. Hurry into Lowe's for these and other great offers before it's too late. Lowe's, never stop improving. Offer valid November 28th through December 3rd. While supplies last, see store for details.
AT&T asks, are you that guy? That guy who not only paints his face to cheer on his team, but then paints his entire torso? Well, you don't have to be that guy to prove your fanhood. Switch to AT&T and follow your favorite team like never before. It's much better than perusing the hardware store for this season's color palette of belly paints. You have the speed to get scores, stats, and highlights fast with AT&T. Rethink possible.
Visit att.com or store for details.
Hey, Mike and Mike here, and listen, if you're still relying on going to the post office for all your postal needs, you need to know there's a much better way. That's Stamps.com. Take it from us. Stamps.com will change the way you do your mailing and your shipping.
With Stamps.com, you won't waste any more time making trips to the post office. You can access all the services of the post office 24/7 without ever leaving your desk. Buy and print official U.S. postage using your own computer and printer. Print postage for any letter or package. Then you just hand it to the mailman. You'll never have to go to the post office again or lease an expensive postage meter.
So you'll save yourself a bunch of time. And then if you just remember our name is Mike, you're going to save yourself a bunch of money as well. Here's how. Use the name Mike for a no-risk trial. It's a $110 bonus offer that includes a digital scale and up to $55 in free postage. But don't waste time. Do it now. Go to Stamps.com. Before you do anything else, click on the radio microphone at the top of the homepage and enter our name, Mike. That's Stamps.com and enter Mike. Save time, save money. With Stamps.com, why wouldn't you try it?
42, 43, $2.43.
My girls are trying to break into the lemonade biz. It's rough out there. I told them to use email marketing from Constant Contact. It was the right choice for growing my small business, Go Time Fitness. Email really works because you know people are checking their inbox every day. Here comes the competition.
With email marketing from Constant Contact, you'll have the tools to easily create custom emails that will work for your business. Plans start as low as $15 per month at ConstantContact.com.
Wow is right, big man, because you hold the future in the palm of your hand. Introducing the revolutionary Black & Decker Gyro Screwdriver. Just grip and twist, and this bad boy's motion sensing technology will drive screws in and reverse them out. Turn your wrist to access variable speeds of awesomeness and get your projects done right the first time. So put a little wow in your weekend. You'll love yourself for it.
Tonight, the ACC Big Ten Challenge continues. In a rematch from last year, ACC powerhouse Duke will be seeking revenge against Big Ten heavyweight Ohio State. Defensive wings Aaron Kraft leads the number 4 Buckeyes into battle as they take on star forward Mason Plumlee and the second-ranked Blue Devils. The ACC Big Ten Challenge. Michigan State, Miami at 7:30 Eastern. Ohio State, Duke at 9:30. Tonight on ESPN.
Wednesday, ESPN Radio Sports Beat time. Hi, everyone. This is Mike Tirico. When is a loss a win? I say right now for the ACC. Maryland left along with Rutgers to the Big Ten. Louisville comes in. Right now, and probably for the next 5 years, maybe 10, I say advantage ACC. Louisville has Rick Pitino. Charlie Strong has built a very good football program at Louisville. Their athletics budget far outpaces what the annual income is from the conference. The Big East TV share very poor. I'll get to the Big East in a second. So as Maryland, which has recently cut teams, replenishes its athletic department with the money from the Big Ten. And there's going to be more money coming down the pike when the Big Ten negotiates its rights outside of the Big Ten network. Then maybe we'd say Maryland and the bigger markets of D.C. and Washington will be an overall win in competitive nature. For now, Louisville's a bigger advantage for the ACC and keeps the basketball league strong on par with the Big Ten. Now, the biggest loser in all this, Connecticut. Their closest football rival is now Cincinnati. Both of those schools were desperate in trying to get the ACC to fill in the Maryland slot with them. Now those schools have to wait and hope that there's another level of expansion, package themselves together. Otherwise, they're going to be playing conference games down at Tulane, San Diego State, and be part of that conference is best described right now as other. Big rule change in golf today. 3 of the last 5 major championships won by players using a variety of the belly putter. But now a new rule. It's going to come into effect in about 3 years or so. You can't anchor the putter against your body or put it up against your chin. USGA and the RNA made that rule change today. Where I look at the interesting part, the PGA Tour may change this rule sooner, but what about you? If you play golf at home, very often you play by the same rules and the same rule book as the tour players do and players around the world. Maybe it's time for that to change so the recreational player can still have his long putter. with ESPN Radio Sports Beat. This is Mike Tirico.
It started with a whisper, and now it's when I kissed her.
6:16 here on the Michael K. Show. We're glad that you could join us on this Wednesday afternoon, so we're halfway through the week. A lot of football stuff coming up over the next couple of days. We've got the Knicks and the Bucks tonight right here on ESPN New York, 98.7 FM. And this is time for the Knicks Game Night Preview presented by Melrose Credit Union, reminding you that the right financial partner can make or break the game of life. Choose Melrose Credit Union. You can get there from here. And our good buddy Tim Legler joins us. And, Tim, you're here with Michael and Don, and we just want to know one thing before we start. Where have you been? Why are you not on the show with us anymore?
I wish I knew that, Michael. I guess maybe it's time to start it. I know the first month of the NBA season, first week's good, and then it gets a little bit anticlimactic. So NBA's starting to pick up some steam, though.
No, we missed you. I know you've been on some of the other shows. That's got to stop. You're our guy. I mean, that's all.
Absolutely.
Stephen A. and Ryan, no way. Okay, it's just us, all right? You're exclusive to us. All right, so we're going to talk about the Knicks. Knicks start off 8-0. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games. And there are some disturbing aspects to what's happening. Jason Kidd's out with a bad back, which shouldn't surprise people. He's 39 years old. They've got a lot of age on the team. And when the schedule started to get tighter with a lot of games in a week and not as many days off, all of a sudden they weren't doing some of the things they did at the beginning of the year. Is this a bad sign for this team?
Well, I don't think it's any reason to, wave the white flag and say, well, they're not what we thought they were and it's going to be the same old Knicks. It's nothing like that. Certainly, you'd like to see a consistent level of play, how they were playing those first 8 games, last a little bit longer than that. But I think you're going to have ups and downs throughout the season. You're going to play good teams in this league. And, there's been some things about the Knicks during the beginning of that slide that I didn't like at all. I thought the other night against the Nets, even though I thought they didn't play well, a lot of guys offensively, the fact that they had the basketball with a chance to win that game, but I didn't think they played very well offensively, I think it's a good sign because that was very much a half-court, grinded-out, physical, defensive game. And the Knicks, typically last few years, they haven't been able to win those games, and they had an opportunity to do that. They did. I think Jason Kidd's on the court. That game never makes it to overtime, and I think the Knicks win that game. So I wouldn't be too concerned, especially when you play a quality team like that in their building and you come up short with a chance to win the game at the end.
But the problem is Jason Kidd's 39. These things are going to happen, and he's going to miss a second game tonight. You miss 2 games in a best-of-7 series, you could be out.
Well, you're right. I mean, obviously injury is always going to be a big part in this, but and you're just going to have to hope and keep your fingers crossed. If you're a Knicks fan, that some of these guys are going to be able to stay healthy for the majority of the year. All of them at some point, the veteran guys they brought in are going to miss time. There's no question about it. Jason Kidd, what he does for you with his intellect and with his instincts and his ability to anticipate things, even if he never takes a shot, does so many things to help you win games. And it was so evident that they missed him the other night at the end of the game. So hopefully he gets back on the court pretty soon because they definitely need him out there to decide matters the last 6-8 minutes.
But isn't that a little scary, though? I mean, Jason Kidd, Rasheed Wallace, both of these guys are playing gigantic roles, and they're both old players. I mean, are they going to be able to hold up? And if you need Jason Kidd that much at the age of 39, can you really expect him to be there for every single game?
Well, one thing I will say is I think that they're playing more minutes than Mike Woodson ever anticipated, and that includes Rasheed Wallace. I don't think they anticipated having to use him this much. Rasheed's played pretty well, and defensively he's been a factor, so he's gotten more playing time. Jason Kidd is a guy that I don't think they ever anticipated necessarily, playing 28 to 30 minutes to win games that they have. So it's something they've got to monitor, and they're going to have to figure out a way to get more production out of some of the younger players to spell their legs, and maybe pick nights where you don't play these guys to rest them a little bit. If you have an opponent that you really think you can handle it, it might not be the worst idea is to have them sit, because the bottom line is when you're the age of some of the team that are playing, you're going to have to make sure that you monitor their minutes so that they feel that they've still got some fresh legs when you get to March and April, which is what this team is really thinking about, making a serious run in the East. I think they've got a good shot to be certainly a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference and have their first legitimate, playoff run in a long time.
We got Avery Johnson on yesterday, Legs, and he seemed confident that Joe Johnson will kind of figure it out and get better. Are you as confident that it's going to happen sooner than later?
He'll play better. He will play better than this. I mean, he's definitely had his struggles in the playoffs, and that's something that they're going to have to deal with again probably this year because he has not been a great playoff shooter. I didn't think he'd get out of the gate this slowly, but the fact that they have the record they have when Darren Williams and Joe Johnson are both, around 40%, and Darren Williams, another guy that just looks like he hasn't had a really explosive offensive game yet. The fact that they have the record they have and have some of the wins they have, despite that, is a great sign for them, because I think that they are more built for a sustained playoff run than the Knicks, because I think they're going to be a better half-court offensive team and a team that can make plays despite the fact that you're playing a team 5, 6, 7 times in a row like you do in the playoffs. I think the Knicks could run into a situation when one team can lock into them and make adjustments and figure out where the traps are going to come from and how to stay home with shooters, and you're going to have a hard time winning games if you have that three-point line taken away from you. And I think teams can do that once you get past the first round of the playoffs. The Nets, I think, are built a little bit more because of Johnson and Darren Williams and their size and their ability to post up from the guard position. They've got some blue-collar guys that get you extra possessions that can grind out. They're a more physical team up front defensively. I think the Nets, honestly, might be more equipped for a better playoff run than the Knicks.
We were talking about this the other day, and I want to ask you, because you've played and obviously you had to make these decisions yourself. It was halftime of the Net-Knick game. There was about 3 seconds left, and Darren Williams had the ball at half court. He didn't take a shot. So I looked at somebody who'd been to a lot of the games, and they said, yeah, he doesn't like to take shots, half-court shots, because it brings down his shooting percentage. And a lot of people in the NBA feel like this. Have you ever heard of this, and is it legitimate?
It's certainly been talked about. I've heard it before as well.
That's disgraceful.
And honestly, I've never heard it from players that have that kind of leverage in the league, and guys that have accomplished what he's accomplished and have the contract that he has. Because what do they have to worry about? Another shot here, a shot there. It's not a big deal. It used to be a running joke. I never held the ball and made sure I didn't get a shot off that situation. I had up my hands, I shot it. And for a guy like me, I was getting paid. My next contract's going to be based on my three-point percentage. So when you're shooting those 50 and 60 footers sometimes at the end of the quarter, end of the half, it will come back to haunt you at the end of the year. But I still would let it fly. It's not the kind of thing that I ever consciously thought of. It was more like a running joke in the locker room between myself and some of my teammates about that. But I do know that it absolutely is a topic that guys discuss, but most of them really don't care, because what's it really going to affect them in the long run? So if Darren Williams did it, I'd be very surprised with what he's accomplished in his career and the security that he has, that he would even care about that.
Yeah, he's got $100 million for the next 5 years. Who cares if he shoots 10%?
Nah, you know what? Every once in a while, you make one of those. You make the top 10. You know what I'm saying? On Sports Center. So.
Absolutely.
Biggest surprise of the first 12 games of the season, Legs?
From a team standpoint, I'd have to probably say the Bobcats, and that's even despite the fact that they were down 53 points in the third quarter to the Thunder the other night. It almost erased all the goodwill I've given them in one night. But I thought about it. I said, despite that, look, they've already won as many games as they did last year. This is a team that has a lot of young players playing. They've got a coach that no one ever heard of, in Mike Dunlap, that's coaching them now, an assistant from St. John's that looked to all of us like was just a money-saving move. And yet I went down there and I sat near their bench for a game earlier this year when they beat Dallas, and I was very impressed with what he had to say, the command of the huddle, and more importantly, the respect that those guys were giving him. And I was very impressed with how hard some of those young guys are playing for him. So I'd have to say that they have to be the biggest prize. No way you could have told me they'd be over 500 a month into the season based on the year they had a year ago. They've had some quality wins along the way.
All right, before we let you go, this has been a big topic of conversation this basketball season. At the beginning, many people were dreading Amari coming back. Oh, he doesn't mesh well with Carmelo. But now you look at some of the things that the Knicks don't do well, and he might be able to solve it. Good thing or bad thing if he comes back?
I honestly have real concerns about what it's going to look like when he gets back out of the court. I'm going off of the track record between these two guys. It just really hasn't worked, and I don't know what's going to be different this time around. The thing I've liked about the Knicks is they've had a clear identity so far this season offensively. I mean, it's going through Carmelo Anthony. It's going to go through his ISO game, his post-up game, and that's where the ball's going to go. And then they're going to obviously space you out with more three-point shooters than any team in this league has, and you're going to pick your poison. You want to place Carmelo single coverage, he's going to get a shot. He's going to work you. He's a tough cover, obviously. If you want to double him and stay home with the shooters, Tyson Chandler is going to get all those cuts to the rim that he's been getting and been playing great offensively and shooting a very high percentage. You want to put an extra defender in the lane to take that away when you double team, well, that's when the ball gets moved around the perimeter and all these three-point shooters are bombing you out. And you do have one other legitimate go-get-your-own-shot player in J.R. Smith, even though I know he can be frustrating for a Knicks fan at times because his shot selection is just so questionable at times. He's been pretty darn good so far this year. So I like the identity. It's a focal point, and they know how they're going to attack. Put Amari out there, I'm not sure what's going to happen and how it's going to look. And I also think that you're going to be sacrificing some things defensively. So, look, you're going to have him. You're going to have to put him out there. He says he doesn't want to come off the bench in the past. So you're going to have to figure this out if you're Mike Woodson. And I definitely have real concerns that this whole thing could come to a grinding halt once he's back out there.
Tim, thanks for coming on as always. We'll talk to you soon.
Anytime, guys. Look forward to it.
That's our very own Tim Legler, and you can see him on ESPN HD. Now, the big question is, does Amari help this team? I've been very, very hesitant about him coming back and upsetting the apple cart. But now that they've lost, 3 out of their last 4 games, is there much of the apple cart to upset? I actually think that there are ways that he could help. How? I'll tell you in just a moment. Kayla Greck and you, ESPN New York, 98.7 FM.
What's up, this is Raymond Felton.
Hey, it's Tyson Chandler.
What's up, this is Ronnie Brewer.
Hey, this is J.R. Smith.
What's up, everybody? It's Carmelo Anthony, and this is your home for New York Knicks basketball.
The Knicks have lost 3 of their last 4. Is a matchup against Milwaukee just what they need? Knicks Bucks coverage gets underway tonight at 7:30 on ESPN New York.
98.7 FM.
Listen, you've heard me say it. Teddy, the huggable dealer, is the place to go for the best deal on a new car or certified pre-owned car, period. But hold up, this event, even I can't believe. It's the Teddy Black Friday sales event, extended through today. I'm telling you, you'll never get a chance to drive a new car for less. Drive a new Nissan for only $69 a month with absolutely zero due at signing. All you do is pay for your miles. That's right. You heard it correctly. Brand new Nissans, only for $69 a month. Zero down, zero first month payments, and zero bank fees. Absolutely zero due at signings. Teddy, the huggable dealer. Volkswagen and Nissan in the Bronx. Online at teddycars.com. Come in for a hug and choose from hundreds of new vehicles starting at just $69 a month. All from Teddy Nissan, the huggable dealer.
Progressive Insurance presents Flo's newest song. We compare rates to give you confidence.
We compare rates to find you a great deal so you can be even more confident. Not that you need more confidence. I'm sure you're a great person with great posture. And you probably look really good in corduroy pants, which isn't easy.
Comparing rates to help you save. Visit Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
I'm a good gift giver. No, a fantastic gift giver. What do I get in return? An unnecessary cheek pinch. I deserve more. So this year, I'm giving Buffalo Wild Wings gift cards. For every $25 I spend, I can get a blazing bonus worth up to $100. So the next time I hear, oh, that's so sweet, it better be referring to honey barbecue sauce. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. No purchase necessary. Must be 18 or older. Valid in restaurant at participating locations only in void in Florida, New York, Rhode Island, and where prohibited by law. Ends 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on December 31st, 2012. See official rules at BuffaloWildWings.com for restrictions and details.
Windows 8 changes the game. How? Let's do a play-by-play. Greeny.
Golick hits the start screen. Bam! It's on. Scrolls through live tiles, glances up, sees stocks up. Weather is 55 and sunny. Wife emails, parents are coming for dinner. His buddy Derek IMs, you in Golick? Swipes through sports apps, launches ESPN NBA. Opens video, pulls an email. Replies to wife, working late. IMs Derek, I'm in. See you soon. Wife responds, don't worry, I understand. Golick's in the clear.
Sounds to me like you can do anything on a Windows 8 tablet. Check out Windows 8 at windows.com.
Like it.
The ESPN New York Sports Center is brought to you by Bobby Van's Steakhouse and Bobby Van's Grill, 2 great restaurants located in the heart of Financial District at 25 Broad Street. I've been there. They're good. The smartest investment on Wall Street is Bobby Van's. Also online at BobbyVans.com. Yankees made an investment with Andy Pettitte, a 1-year deal, $12 million, $2.5 million in incentives. Also reports out there that the final one of the core 3, Mariano Rivera, is fairly close to a deal with the Yankees as well. Hall of Fame ballots went out today to over 600 members of the Baseball Writers Association. First-time members on the ballot, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, and Sammy Sosa, all involved in some way with allegations of steroids. It'll be interesting to see how the voters judge those 3 men. 75% of the vote will get you in. Less than 5% of the vote will take you off the ballot. Also on the ballot for the first time, Craig Biggio, Mike Piazza, and Kurt Schilling. 24 first-time eligible candidates in all. And you also have Jack Morris, Jeff Bagwell, and Tim Raines as the top holdover candidates.
NBA tonight, Knicks will be in Milwaukee to take on the Bucks. They will play this game again without Jason Kidd because of back spasms. He didn't even make the trip. Coverage right here on ESPN New York. We'll get underway with the legendary Bill Daughtry at 7:30. Tip-off set for 8 o'clock.
Wait,
you can see the game on MSG television.
Is it radio legend or the legendary?
Well, it's radio legend. That's where he made his legend.
Right.
So I don't have to say radio legend.
But you usually do.
He's doing radio coverage.
Gotcha.
7:30 with Bill Daughtry. At 7:30, the Nets will be in Boston to take on the Celtics. In the NFL, Rex Ryan says Tim Tebow was limited in practice earlier today. He's expected to play against Arizona on Sunday. College basketball, Columbia at LIU Brooklyn, Iona home for Niagara, FDU is at St. Peter's, Princeton will be on the road versus Wagner, and Cornell is home for Stony Brook. You're listening to ESPN New York, 98.7 FM.
Looking for the best value on an Audi? Visit PalisadesAudi.com. I got to tell you one thing about Audi, okay? Can I do this, Don?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, we love Audi, Palisades Audi in particular. But the Audi commercial that's on the air every Christmas, I always look at Jody and go, I don't get it. The son's coming home in the snow, pulls up to the house, older mother and father, hanging the stockings up, right?
Yes.
The son comes in, pulls up in a beautiful Audi, walks through the front door. The parents go out the back door, and they leave him there gleefully driving off in his Audi.
Yes.
The kid has come from wherever to go visit his parents, driven in a snowstorm, and they take glee in leaving him, and then the father looks at the mother with this silly grin and goes, I hope he's fine. Really? You just ruined a kid's Christmas. How is that a good thing?
Well, that's not what I think about. I know exactly the commercial. But what bothers me is, what, he leave the keys in the car?
Right.
How did they take the car? Did they hotwire it? This old couple know how to hotwire a brand new car? Who leaves their keys in the car? I don't care if it's the suburbs or whatever.
All good questions. Although that looked like a very exclusive area.
I want to do a show.
Right. Just ripping apart
kind of like the Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Right.
Where all we do is critique the commercials and how these things don't work. Like that. The one car commercial where the dad comes in, it's a snow day, the kids are jumping up and down in bed, it's snowing,
right.
No school today. And he's like, 5 minutes, guys. The father and what car he has doesn't determine whether the school is open. The Board of Education does,
right,
okay?
Whether the buses can get through.
So what I want to do is you fast forward to the commercial, he goes to pick the kids up, and they're blue and frozen, like Jack Nicholson in The Shining, outside the door because they couldn't get in, and they froze to death. Just because he's got a car that can handle with a four-wheel drive doesn't mean that now all of a sudden the school opens.
So then you'd have the juxtaposition of the kids joyously dancing that school's over. He's forcing them to go, and then the end of the commercial before it fades to black is 2 dead kids.
Right. Blue. Frozen. Icicles up their nose.
Because school couldn't open.
And I watch them all, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. I understand that sometimes you have to suspend disbelief because they're trying to sell a product. But don't completely lie.
Yeah, and there's so many strange things. And by the way, if there's any television, I know a lot of television people listen to this show because they think Don's brilliantly talented. But I have a great idea for a TV show. Don mentioned Mystery Science 3000, where 2 guys sat there watching these horror movies or science fiction movies, and they'd make cracky comments about them, snarky little comments. Tell me how great it would be. And they couldn't have it on ESPN because you have a relationship with all of the leagues. But wouldn't it be great, like how buddies sit on a couch and watch a game and just rip people? Look at that guy. What's he thinking? I mean, but I don't think that the leagues would make the footage available. That's the only thing. It could be Major League Baseball 3000. It could be NFL 3000. 2 guys just cracking on everything that's going on in the field.
Yeah, I had pitched an idea to the NHL Network.
Right.
I'm still waiting for the answer, by the way. And if I do see it, I will sue because I want to be a part of it. Where you would take like old footage from a game, like what they show, like the ESPN Classic show. But me and you will sit there, and it will just rip apart. Like, look at that hairdo. I can't believe they wore that back in the 70s. And then the same theme. And I think the leagues would be more up for it because it wouldn't be anything today. It would be more back in the day.
Well, I want it today, where you go over highlights today where a guy makes a mistake. What? He's getting paid? $20 million? He should be dock pay, something like that. But you have to be able to curse and do anything that you would do with your buddy if you were sitting on the couch watching SportsCenter. I think it's a brilliant idea. So anybody at HBO, I think that's the way to go.
HBO's the way to go.
Because you can curse.
Right.
And it can't be anybody. It can't be us because we're in the business right now. We can't be cursing players, but guys that don't have any connection to
do it. I'm willing to make that discount. I don't care.
Really?
Yeah, because it's for the show.
The HBO show.
Yeah. You got to be all in. I'm all in.
You are all in, aren't you? All right. Are the Knicks all in on Amari Stoudemire? I've always been a guy who doesn't think that Amari and Carmelo can mesh. And the numbers back me up. When they're in the lineup together, they're under 500. I think it's one game under 500. They haven't been good together. And people will argue, people on Twitter said the other day when I said something like this, well, they never had a great point guard. Oh, I thought Jeremy Lin was the be-all, end-all. Didn't work when he was the point guard. So now they have Raymond Felton. Is it going to work? I don't know. The only way it's going to work, and the only way it could really help the Knicks, Don, is if what happened with Amari when he went down during the offseason and worked with Olajuwon, where now he could become a real low-post presence. He doesn't have to roam in the outside where the area where Carmelo might be. He doesn't crowd him and take the shots that he would normally take. He doesn't have to pick and roll or anything like that. He just becomes a force with his back to the basket and just rebounds like a monster. If you can get that Amari Stoudemire, what an addition. Because one of the things the Knicks don't have, they don't have a big front line with Carmelo playing the 4. Now Carmelo would move to the 3, which I think robs him a little bit of his offense. But if you could have Amari be dominant at the 4 and pull down rebounds, boy, when you get Amari back, that could make the Knicks a title contender. But he's got to be a different player than we've ever seen before. Well, can he do it? I'm not sure.
Well, let me ask you this. If he is that, would you trade him for Gasol?
Yes.
So maybe that can happen if he's a beast when he comes back.
But it's funny because the player that he was is the one that benefits the Lakers. The player that he would be if he becomes an Olajuwon clone would benefit the Knicks. The only reason I would ever get rid of Amari if he became that player, I don't think he could stay healthy for the next 2.5 years.
No, I don't think so either.
All right, you've got 2 more years after this one in his contract, and with Gasol, you have 1 more year after this year. And Gasol has won championships, so you know he's got that in him. I just can't see the Lakers facing such an onerous luxury tax taking on Amari because Gasol makes 17.9 in his last year. Amari's making 20 and 20 and 20 this year, and they're way over the cap. They're going to get hit with a big-time tax. We'll see.
I don't think the Lakers would do it anyway.
I don't think so either. Curt Schilling, who's on the ballot for the first time this year, had some comments on the Hall of Fame ballot that has Bonds, Sosa, and Clemens on it. You're going to want to hear from Curt Schilling on that. And also we're going to play the Sports Case Showdown, the highlight of our day each and every day as we're giving away a pair of tickets to the Jets and the Cardinals game that will be this weekend at MetLife. And Don will be there
I'll be there, 11 o'clock.
All right, so you'll hear from Curt Schilling, and we'll play a little game of Sports Case Showdown. K. LaGreca, you, right here on ESPN New York, 98.7 FM.
The Stephen A. Smith and Ryan Rucco Show.
I don't think you can honestly sit here definitively and say which team is going to be better at the end of the year.
There are some Knicks fans that are delusional. Think they're going to the Eastern Conference Finals no matter what. And that some people think they could beat Miami. There are others who are like, let's see, I'm rooting for you, but you ain't getting me to believe just yet. I look at the Brooklyn Nets. I think they are a better team.
The Stephen A. Smith and Ryan Rucco Show from 1 to 3. ESPN New York, 98.7 FM. The Heisman and Nissan are built on a heritage of excellence. With Nissan launching 3 all-new models, the legacy continues. The all-new Altima, the all-new Pathfinder, and the all-new Sentra are pulling up to the Nissan Heisman House, a fraternity made up of college football's greatest athletes, the Heismans. Only Nissan gives the fans an official vote for the next Heisman winner. Help recruit the rookie by going to NissanHeismanHouse.com to get to know the Heismans and vote.
Do not be alarmed, but I am on the roof of your car right now. I just found out Little Caesars has hot and ready pizza pizza and wings, which means I don't have to call ahead or wait. Sorry I had to get you involved, but I needed a ride. It's only $6 for hot and ready Caesar wings and $5 for a large hot and ready pepperoni pizza. If I'm not on the roof when you get there, I've fallen off, but do not come looking for me. Just go in and enjoy the wings and pizza. Thanks.
Pizza. At participating locations plus tax.
Norm Miller here, chairman of Interstate Batteries. Now, I don't mean to brag, but I recently learned auto technicians prefer Interstate Batteries 5-to-1 over any other battery. Oh, who am I kidding? Of course I mean to brag. 5-to-1, that's a landslide. All right, I'm done bragging. To find the dealer near you that prefers us, head to interstatebatteries.com. Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable. And that's not bragging, it's just the truth.
My mum always says hard work never hurt anybody. Good advice as usual. So we worked very hard to make Geico.com very easy. Say you want to report a claim and follow its progress. You can do it all online at Geico.com. Not to mention perhaps saving a tidy sum of money on your car insurance. All it takes is a few clicks. So visit Geico.com today. Oh, and Mum, if you're listening, yes, I did wash behind my ears this morning.
Sports has always been your passion. Now make it your profession. Enroll in the MS in Sports Business offered by the NYU School of Continuing and Professional Studies, Preston Robert Tisch Center for Hospitality, Tourism, and Sports Management. Learn from top sports business pros and gain an insider's perspective. Call 212-998-7100 or visit scps.nyu.edu/MSSB1. The MS in Sports Business at NYU SCPS. Get in the game.
Leslie French was hunkered down for a fight.
I was just at the dealership looking for a car.
Lured in by the enemy.
No, it was pretty cordial, but I did need a car loan fast.
There was no time.
I called Navy Federal Credit Union. A really nice guy approved me for a loan on the spot. Great rate, too.
Victory was hers.
Well, a convertible was mine.
4 million members, 4 million stories. From every military branch, DOD, and their families. NavyFederal.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Stuck in a car this holiday season? Make your time stuck in gridlock traffic more manageable by downloading the ESPN Radio iPhone app. With the app, you can listen to nearly a dozen college bowl games as well as almost 40 podcasts, including the BS Report with Bill Simmons, the NBA Today, and many, many more. So what are you waiting for? Grab your GPS, buckle in your screaming kids, and download the ESPN Radio iPhone app today.
Hey, it's Greeny. Did you miss Wednesday's show? If so, you missed college football analyst Kirk Herbstreit telling us the edge in the SEC championship game goes to Alabama because of their experience. Download the Mike and Mike podcast free on iTunes and on ESPNradio.com.
ESPNradio.com. Right now.
Hi, I'm Christine Lisi. On Wednesday's edition of Mike and Mike in the Morning, Mike Greenberg and Mike Golick discuss the Eagles' decision to release Jason Babin, the latest coaching rumors from around the NFL, the SEC title game, and more with John Gruden, Adam Schefter, Mark Schlereth, Jerry Rice, Kirk Herbstreit, Mike Mayock, and Rich Baldinger. It's all yours on the Mike and Mike page at ESPNradio.com. Meanwhile, over on the Pod Center page,
Ivan Maisel here on the ESPNU College Football Podcast Wednesday. Chris Fowler, the host of College Game Day, joins us. We'll talk his alma mater, Colorado. We'll talk the Heisman.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from the Fantasy Focus Football Podcast. Today on the show, Nate Ravitz returns, and we talk about Jonathan Dwyer's status, what you do with the Carolina running backs, all sorts of news.
You can hear this and more on the Pod Center page at ESPNradio.com. Log on to the ESPNradio.com stream, the most listened to stream in the world. From ABC News, Wall Street Now, the markets recovered from early losses, but investors are still nervous about the possibility of the economy going off the so-called fiscal cliff. The Dow closed up 107 points, the Nasdaq gained 24, and the S&P added 11. Investors are closely monitoring the ongoing discussions in Washington that are aimed at avoiding the automatic tax increases for all Americans and deep government spending cuts unless Congress agrees to a deal by the end of the year. The Federal Reserve's latest beige book shows a lot of green, especially in home sales. That helped boost economic growth in October and early this month across much of the U.S. Hurricane Sandy slowed activity in the Northeast a bit, though. This holiday season, small businesses may be leaving Groupon and other discount sites like it off their lists as far as sales strategies go. The online small business network Mantra says the deals may bring new people in, but many don't become repeat customers. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
You and I go hard at each other like we're going to war. You and I go rough.
All right, so the big drawing is tonight for Powerball, $500 million. I bought tickets, and I've decided this is what I'm going to do.
Money.
If I win, I'm going to ask Ryan and Andrew and Ray, how much money will you need to leave the business?
So you're buying them off?
No, because I think that there are better things out there than working as hard as they work for as little money as they get. So if they say, Mike, it'll take $1.5 million for me to get out, I'll write them checks for $1.5 million. Would that get you out, Ryan, if I gave you $1.5 million check?
Get me out, but I probably want a lot more than that, man.
Wow. Why would I give you a lot more if 1.5 would get you out?
You're asking me it would get me out, but it'd be nice to get a few more bucks, man.
I'd definitely lie to you.
Oh, so you'd bloat it up, Ray?
Fleece you.
You'd say $5 million.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
Well, I would say no then. I mean, I'm not Santa Claus.
You put the offer out there, it's out there. So
yeah, see, here's the game that you can play with it. If you go too far, then you get nothing.
Nice.
So you got to play the game. How much?
It's almost like the Price is Right game.
Now, Kay could just say any number would knock you out.
Well,
but
you know what? I'll write a number down and show it to you.
Right.
All right, they go over this number, then they're glutton slobs, and they're not getting a dime.
But Don always says it would be the rich getting richer, so it would just be like throwing away pennies for you anyway.
Like, yeah, okay. Well, you guys insult me. You're all animals. Like I make an extraordinary amount of money.
He's got a child he's got to put through college,
I got
Ryan.
a kid coming, all right?
I got two.
You do make an extraordinary amount of money.
You have no idea what I make. How dare you, you animal?
Figure it out. You're
Get
an
out of my
afternoon
pocket.
drive home.
Guy towels off with 20s.
Oh, that's good to make people think that that's how it goes.
They know already.
No, they don't know. So that's why they don't identify. See, what you do is perpetuate this falsehood that you're like every guy. You're the guy with the built-in pool. You're the guy with the man cave. You're the guy with the mansion in the suburbs.
Because
Not
these
me.
are things
I
that
just
work
get
my
by.
tail off.
What do? I skate by on Woolman Rink?
Because they know. They can figure out. Listen, ESPN does not pay an afternoon drive host pennies. The Yankees do not have the voice of television paid in pennies. These guys, you make money.
I'm not saying I don't make money, but you're making me out to be rich. I'm not rich. I have to work to pay bills. And by the time my daughter becomes college age, it's going to be like $150,000 a year to send somebody to college. You've got some nerve, each and every one of you. Pat it.
But just because
I'll take the 1.5 actually.
The one that's going to be
fine.
The one that's going to be tough to give money to is Andrew, because he's swimming in money. He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth.
He
so
might laugh at whatever you offer.
I could say I'll give you $2 million. Go, please.
Yeah. Every time
got that in my ashtray.
Every time he goes back to Philly, the money his parents give him.
Right.
It might be what you offer.
I mean, he's doing this for a hobby anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about Curt Schilling. He's on the ballot for the first time, and he's never been stained with any allegations of steroid use. And this is what Curt Schilling said today on ESPN about the ballot that's out today.
I go into this and come out of this with my head held high. This is the perfect ballot for me to go on, I guess. I mean, this is going to be a ballot that will – this is the first steroid ballot. Real, legitimate. I mean, the best players of my generation have all, for the most part, been involved in discussions of cheating. I wouldn't vote for them, ever. These guys, I think, to some degree or another, in different cases, cheated, and in some cases cheated for a lengthy period of time. And, you know, I think that had an impact on who they are and what they did. You know, I would be someone who wouldn't vote for anybody that cheated in that manner. There was a huge advantage for them. And again, that's one of the reasons why, you know, when I look at my numbers, I know I did them against guys that were cheating. And so I'm proud of that.
Wow. And this is a guy who's I was really close friends with Roger Clemens. Roger Clemens is the guy who made him a great player. Said, you're wasting your talent. And he just shot down Roger Clemens.
Well, I mean, he's entitled to his opinion.
Yeah, and the strong opinion.
And I can understand him being into it as much as he is, because if Curt Schilling was clean, then think about the extra work he had to do to get the numbers that he got, because a lot of the guys he was trying to get out weren't. And he was also compared to some pitchers who were also doing it. So I can understand a player that's a contemporary of a steroid guy being really ticked off if they were clean.
All right, it's time now, Donnie, for our annual second of today, Sports Case Showdown. This hour's participants as we play for a pair of tickets to the Jets-Cardinals game this weekend at MetLife. Chris Tereshko from Highland Park, New Jersey. Chris, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for the opportunity, guys.
Thanks for calling in. You like pizza?
I do.
Anything on your pizza?
Sausage.
Really?
Nice.
You're a sausage guy too, right? Don?
Meatball, but then sausage would be my second.
I think I'd have extra cheese. That's about it.
Okay.
All right, hold on, Chris. Bonnie Simmons from Lindenhurst. Bonnie, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's your favorite candy bar?
Heath bar.
Wow.
Interesting.
That's an interesting choice. We got a Milky Way today and a Heath bar.
Yeah.
All right, hold on, Bonnie. You know when I like Heath bar? On ice cream. Like at the Dairy Queen Heath bar Blizzard. Oh, I start to weep. Like tears come down my face. All right, so Paul Dehaney is next. Paul's from Baldwin, New York. Paulie, what do you got, babe?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm here.
You're all ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You nervous? You nervous?
A little bit.
Don't be nervous. Really, what's the worst thing you do? You don't go to the Jet game? It's not the worst thing in the world.
Well, that's my favorite team, so it's
all right.
a bonus.
Good. So you got a lot on the line. Hold on, guys. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to ask you a question, and each of you need to give me a numerical answer. The person whose answer comes closest to the correct number without going over will be today's winner of 2 tickets to this Sunday's Jets game at MetLife, as Gang Green will host Larry Fitzgerald and the Arizona Cardinals. Here's the question. Since the start of the 2011 season, Mark Sanchez has committed the second most turnovers in the entire NFL. Did you know that, Don?
No, I did not.
So your question is simple. How many turnovers has he committed? And as usual, we will only accept the closest answer without going over. We start with Chris. Chris, how many turnovers?
33.
Bonnie, how many turnovers?
22.
22. Paul, how many turnovers?
34.
Playing the game the right way.
Yeah.
Paul, no need to get nervous. You're the winner. Yeah, baby. And you know what makes me happy, Paul? For the second time today, somebody played the game the right way.
Finally.
Good for you. Enjoy the game. Make sure to go over and say hello to Don and Greg. All right?
Yeah, we're outside.
All right, Paul. Enjoy the game. Hold on. They'll get your information. And the answer was 41 turnovers for Sanchez.
Jeez, that's too many.
Since the start of the 2011 season. Wow.
Yeah, we're back outside in the plaza. I'm excited.
You like that because you don't like to be kept away from people.
I like the people coming over saying hello.
All right. Top 15 most popular NBA jerseys sold. Who's number 1?
LeBron.
Number 2?
Kobe.
No, he's number 3. Oh, so sorry.
Durant.
Number 4? Local guy.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Darren Williams?
Carmelo Anthony.
Oh, good.
Darren Williams is number 11. 10 most popular team merchandise sales. Knicks are number 1.
Really? Over the Lakers,
Brooklyn Nets are number 2.
Heat's
number Brooklyn Nets are 7. I'm sorry. Heat's 2. Lakers are 3. Bulls 4. Celtics 5. Old schools. Oklahoma City Thunder 6. And then the Brooklyn Nets 7. Although, you know how they do this? Online and at the New York City store. So you're going to be more likely to sell Knicks jerseys at the New York City store.
And Brooklyn's going to be high because it's new. You change the logo and you kind of change how everything is.
So an ex-New York City cop revealed today how to not get a ticket. It's going to be on 2020 True Confessions Friday at 10. And one of the things he said that when a cop pulls you over, he's always nervous about where your hands are. So if you put your hands at the top of the steering wheel, and also if it's nighttime, you turn on the inside light, that gets a cop's pulse to calm down a little bit, and you'll be more likely to get out of the ticket.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Okay.
I thought like excuses, like I got to go to the bathroom.
No. And also this ex-cop said to be apologetic, but don't feel that you have to admit anything. You can play dumb. You could say, what did I do? And if he tells you what you did, you could say, I must have. I didn't realize it. And he was asked, does it help to cry? And he said, only for women.
Of course.
And the question was, what if she shows a little leg?
Oh, boy.
And his answer was, since men and women were created, attractive women get more breaks.
That's life. In every way, shape, and form. What I don't like about myself, and I haven't gotten a ticket in a while, knock on wood, but when I ever gotten a ticket, he gives me the ticket. I always say thank you. And then afterwards, I'm like, why did I just thank him? He just cost me money. He pulled me over. But I guess because I'm polite that I say that.
I got pulled over coming home from jet camp this year in Cortland. I was going a little fast. And the guy says, you know what you were doing? I said, I guess I was going a little fast. And he goes, why? I said, I just wanted to get home. I'm about 3 hours from home. I wanted to get home. Let me see your license. Comes back. He goes, you know what? You've never had a ticket in your life. You were honest.
Oh.
I'll let you go.
So you must have been sweating thinking you were going to get your first ticket.
Yeah, I was very upset. At the age of 51, getting your first ticket.
Dave Rothenface.
He's coming up next. Dave, what do you got on the show?
Oh, we got lots of stuff in the half hour we're going to be on tonight.
I'm sure you're going to pack it.
Preview the Knicks and the Bucks. Talk a little Jason Kidd, who did not make the trip out to Milwaukee. Should Carmelo be up? I know it's early, but should Carmelo be up for MVP?
No.
Wow.
You say no.
Strong.
David Thorpe, our ESPN insider, will join us to tell us what
LeBron
he thinks
gonna quit?
about that. Well, listen, I don't have all the answers for you, Don. Why are we all dressed up? Why is everybody all dressed up?
We have to do something that you weren't invited to.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Something with sponsors.
Great.
I'd be worried.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, everybody in the whole place was invited but you.
I believe that to be true.
I'm a little bit nervous.
No, I would completely
because
believe that to be true.
You could have been there during the Knick game. You only do a half hour.
Right.
It's only about 20 blocks away.
Right. Now, God forbid you actually say, well, how about Rothenberg? Is Rothenberg going?
It wasn't up to me.
All I'll say is Robin Lundberg's going.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Lundberg's there. Is Jared there?
Oh, yeah.
What is
You're the only person from the station
That's
not
great.
going.
That's
We're
terrific.
actually schmoozing clients. And
I feel very good about that.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. All right.
Dave Rothenface.
But you'll be here from 7 to 7:30 then after the Knick game.
Exactly. With Alan Hahn will be in studio.
Alan Hahn's not invited.
No, I think he is
because
going.
he's going to be working.
He's
Everybody will be there. Clyde Frazier will be there. Everybody. The elder sales guys
Really,
from here.
if we made you feel nervous, we didn't mean to.
I'm not nervous. I feel
left out.
Yeah,
Ian
like
O'Connor's
unimportant.
going, okay? Ian? Patrick McEnroe. You're in trouble.
Wow. I'm in big trouble.
People that used
I
to
know.
work here and got fired,
Right.
they're coming back.
Wonderful.
Right. Jason Page is going to be.
Max Kellerman's flying in from L.A. He's going to be here.
Wally and the King, they're having a reunion.
Anyway, Dave is going to try to resurrect his career starting at 7. In the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of lows and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for goodbye again. See everybody. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3. See you then. Have a great night. So long.
What's up, this is Raymond Felton. Hey, it's Tyson Chandler. What's up, this is Ronnie Brewer. Hey, this is J.R. Smith. What's up, everybody? It's Carmelo Anthony, and this is your home for New York Knicks basketball.
The Knicks have lost 3 of their last 4. Is a matchup against Milwaukee just what they need? Knicks-Bucks coverage gets underway tonight at 7:30 on ESPN New York.
98.7 FM.
Make this Christmas come to life with a fresh-cut Fraser fir Christmas tree from Lowe's for only $19.98. Plus, take something home to put under the tree, like the 70-piece Cobalt drill driver set for only $14.98. That's a savings of $25. Hurry into Lowe's for these and other great offers before it's too late. Lowe's, never stop improving. Offer valid November 28th through December 3rd. While supplies last, see store for details.
I'm a good gift giver. No, a fantastic gift giver. What do I get in return? An unnecessary cheek pinch. I deserve more. So this year, I'm giving Buffalo Wild Wings gift cards. For every $25 I spend, I can get a blazing bonus worth up to $100. So the next time I hear, oh, that's so sweet, it better be referring to honey barbecue sauce. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. No purchase necessary. Must be 18 or older. Valid in restaurant at participating locations only. Employed in Florida, New York, Rhode Island, and where prohibited by law. Ends 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on December 31st, 2012. See official rules at BuffaloWildWings.com for restrictions and details.
Wow is right, big man, because you hold the future in the palm of your hand. Introducing the revolutionary Black & Decker Gyro Screwdriver. Just grip and twist, and this bad boy's motion sensing technology will drive screws in and reverse them out. Turn your wrist to access variable speeds of awesomeness and get your projects done right the first time. So put a little wow in your weekend. You'll love yourself for it.
Hey, it's Greeny. Wake up with Mike and Mike on Thursday morning. We'll have Brian Billick from Fox Sports and NFL Network to tell us whether the big Thursday night game, Saints and Falcons, will lead to the Saints making the playoffs. That's Thursday morning with us, Mike and Mike, ESPN Radio and ESPNRadio.com.
What's up, everybody? It's Carmelo Anthony, and this is your home for New York Knicks basketball.
WEPN FM, WEPN HD1, New York.
I'm Dave Rothenberg with your ESPN New York Sports Center. Knicks just about an hour away from kicking things off against Milwaukee in a battle of first-place clubs. Knicks losers of their last 3 on the road, just 1-4 in their last 5 at Milwaukee. Jason Kidd not in the lineup due to back spasms. Milwaukee enters tonight's game with just 1 win in its last 4. We'll take you up to Metro PCS Knicks game night with Bill Daughtry at 7:30. Tip-off set for just after 8 o'clock. Elsewhere, Nets are in Boston to battle the Celtics. Brooklyn looking for its 4th consecutive win. Baseball news, the Yankees have re-signed left-handed starter Andy Pettitte. He came out of retirement to pitch for the Yanks last season, posted a 5-4 mark with an ERA just under 3. Pettitte joined the Michael Kay Show earlier today, talked about why he decided to come back.
I feel like the desire is there. I'm wanting to work. I feel like the desire is there. I'm wanting to work, and if you want to work and you want to do the work and your family's behind it, I feel like in my heart it's the thing that I want to do, and I felt like, man, you got to do it again.
Sources say Pettitte will earn $12 million on a one-year deal, up from the $2.5 million he earned last year. Our own Jerry Krasnick reporting that Braves agree to a deal with outfielder B.J. Upton, 5 years and $75 million. NFL news, Jaguars claim defensive end Jason Babin off waivers from the Eagles. Lions defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh fined $30,000 for kicking Matt Schaub.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
The Dave Rothenberg Show on ESPN New York, 98.7 FM.
And we get you ready for the Knicks tonight. Knicks with, they've been a little slump lately. Knicks losing in Houston. Knicks coming back and winning a game at home against Detroit. Anybody should beat Detroit at their home court. And then the Knicks, of course, that really good game, well-played defensive battle on the road in Brooklyn, falling to the Nets. Knicks now 9-4. We got into the discussion last night. Is this a club that is worthy of that 8-1, commending that they were getting early on this season? Probably not. Is this a club that's worthy of the 1-3? And you don't want to say bashing, but, certainly bad feelings that you've had over the last 4 games about this club? Probably not. Somewhere in the middle of that. And you know what? If I told you start the season, Knicks would be 9-4, you'd say that's about right. That's about what they are. 9-4 over a 13-game stretch is, I think, a very reasonable number. Are the Knicks great? I think we got kind of spoiled to start out 8-1. If the Knicks had started out 6-3 and now sit here at 9-4, you'd say, oh, we're fine. The only reason is because they played so well to start, and we have these delusions of grandeur that the Knicks are going to wind up winning 60 games and compete for. The Knicks are what they are. They're a pretty good team. They're a pretty good basketball team right now that certainly has talent, but they have lacking in certain spots as well. They don't have that second score. Now, what worries me tonight is Jason Kidd. And I know I've heard people say, oh, come on, Jason Kidd, he's not a big-time player anymore. I'm not saying that Jason Kidd is a big-time player anymore. My point is that Jason Kidd is kind of the glue to this club. Jason Kidd is kind of that piece that I believe he plays on Monday, and the Knicks beat Brooklyn. I believe you don't have him in a game like this tonight because you can, and I know he's got a bad ankle, but you can pretty much pencil Brandon Jennings in for 27 points tonight. Brandon Jennings sees the Knicks uniform on the other side of the court, and he has flashbacks to them not drafting him a couple of years ago. And this is not an easy game. Knicks have struggled in Milwaukee lately. You go there without Jason Kidd. You come there after a really rough game on Monday night. This is one of those games for the Knicks that you look at and you say, if they're going to be, now, is this going to long-term really impact the season? Probably not. But this, for me, is one of those games for the Knicks where you say to yourself, if they're going to be that 50-win club, if they're going to be that team that's going to, really prove themselves and fight for this Atlantic division, this is a game you need to win. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to, and I don't know that they're going to win 50 games or not. But if they want to be what they've told us that they want to be all off season and the beginning of this season, then this is the kind of game that the Knicks need to win. And you can't play Carmelo Anthony 45 minutes a game. Knicks have 3 games coming up after tonight in the next week. Washington Friday, Phoenix Sunday, Charlotte next Wednesday. You have to start to limit Raymond Felton and Carmelo Anthony's minutes. And for me, not having Jason Kidd tonight, even if you were going to get 20 minutes out of him, is a big, big factor. Mike Woodson on missing Jason Kidd's presence the other night against the Nets.
But some of the close games, Jason has been, the common factor in terms of offensively getting us in things, defensively being a stabilizer based on who he's guarding and getting the other 4 guys in position. I mean, Jason does a lot of things that goes unnoticed. He's not a stat guy, but when you watch the tape, based on the things that he do on the floor, it's incredible. He just does things to help you win basketball games. So yeah, he was missed last night, but still, I'm not using that as an excuse. We had enough to win with last night. I thought we even coming down the stretch, we were in control. We had last second chance to win the game. So you still got to give Brooklyn credit because they did everything they had to do in the overtime to secure it.
But, you look, and of course that's from the Stephen A. Smith and Ryan Rucco show earlier this week. Jason Kidd, for me, is that cog. He's that piece. And I look at him, even if he's going to give you 20 minutes a game, those are important 20 minutes. Do you look at the lack of Jason Kidd for 2 games in a row as a big loss, or am I completely overreacting to not having a 39-year-old two-guard and occasionally point guard now in this league? 1-800-919-3776. More than Mike Woodson went on to discuss with Stephen A. and Ryan Rucco is offensive balance for the Knicks, which started out this year looking brilliant. And I think the other night you saw this club, when it came down to it, they only have one scorer, and that one scorer is Carmelo. And it was a lack of Jason Kidd helping the ball movement work, and that becomes stagnant for this club. Mike Woodson on the Knicks' offensive balance.
Well, again, I think our offensive pace and how we've been playing has been pretty good. When you got 4 guys that are averaging in double figures with JR and Raymond Felton and Tyson, and then you add Melo to the mix, that's pretty good. We're averaging 103 points a game, which is it's right at the top offensively in terms of how we want to play offensively. I don't think it should be one-sided where Melo is the guy that we got to depend on all the time. And it hadn't been that way. Thus far, the 9-4 record doesn't indicate that. So, we got to stay on pace from where we are until we're able to get Amari and our rook back. 2 other pieces that should help us on both ends of the floor. As we continue our journey. I like the makeup of our ball club and where we are. We're a little beat up right now, but eventually those guys will make it back, and I'll get them in the fold, and we'll see what happens.
And the Knicks are a little beat up right now, and that's why you look at this game. And again, this is not a must-win game. You're 10-4, you're 9-5, doesn't make that big of a difference. But again, if you want to be that team that competes for this Atlantic Division championship, and wins 50-plus games against Milwaukee on the road following wins or losses, and the Knicks are now coming off a loss in Brooklyn. If you want to be that team that you say you're going to be, then this turns into a fairly big game. John in New Jersey, how big is no Jason Kidd tonight, John?
Hey, Dave.
How are you?
Jason Kidd's definitely going to be, his absence is definitely going to hurt the team. But you and I had a discussion a year ago, and we're talking about the same thing now, where the biggest Achilles heel with this team has been the second chance opportunities they've been giving the opposition.
Well, they don't rebound.
And their lack of rebounding. Glenn Grunwald has to find a way to get an Anderson Varejao on this basketball team.
How about the fact that Amari Stoudemire, who's probably 8 to 10 a game, hasn't played yet this year?
Dave, he's not a rebounder.
Well, no,
really
he's not Dennis Rodman, but the guy's still a legitimate power forward in this league. How you could think that Amari Stoudemire wouldn't add something to this club over the first 13 games? I didn't know Marcus Camby was going to come in so grossly out of shape. I didn't know that Rasheed Wallace was going to be, 12 to 14 minutes a night. And I didn't know that Amari Stoudemire was going to have a cyst on the knee that was going to make him miss the first 6 to 8 weeks. These are all big issues. How big is no Jason Kidd tonight? Scott in Harlem.
Yeah, hey, Dave, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, listen, I think Jason Kidd is like the biggest piece of the puzzle for the Knicks right now. It doesn't matter if he's 39, doesn't matter if he gives you 20 minutes, better if he gives you 30, but that's the balance you're talking about. That's the guy who needs to distribute, because if Carmelo Anthony's trying to bring the ball into the net from outside every time, you've got no spacing on the floor anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
Jason Kidd's the only guy that can do it, and then you can get some offensive rebounds if he's breaking up the middle, making passes.
And the thing with Kidd, and I appreciate the call, Scott, he seems to, and there's not a lot of players in any sport that can do this, is he seems to make everybody better. Whether it's a big guy or a point guard. Now, I don't know if it's coincidental or not, but 3 of 19 from Raymond Felton the other night. And I when they signed Kidd, I was actually on the air when they made the signing, and I was very excited by that. I didn't realize that he was going to add this much right now to this team. He's clearly still very talented, but I didn't realize he would add this much to this team. Now, the one guy we talk about constantly who has really answered the bell all year long for this club, Carmelo Anthony. Is he worthy at this stage of the season of being talked about as an MVP? We'll tackle that next. Dave Rothenberg with you on ESPN New York, 98.7 FM.
What's up, this is Raymond Felton. Hey, it's Tyson Chandler. What's up, this is Ronnie Brewer. Hey, this is J.R. Smith. What's up, everybody? It's Carmelo Anthony, and this is your home for New York Knicks basketball.
The Knicks have lost 3 of their last 4. Is a matchup against Milwaukee just what they need? Knicks-Bucks coverage gets underway tonight at 7:30 on ESPN New York.
98.7 FM.
Listen, you've heard me say it. Teddy, the Huggable Dealer, is the place to go for the best deal on a new car or certified pre-owned car, period. But hold up, this event, even I can't believe. It's the Teddy Black Friday sales event, extended through today. I'm telling you, you'll never get a chance to drive a new car for less. Drive a new Nissan for only $69 a month with absolutely zero due at signing. All you do is pay for your miles. That's right. You heard it correctly. Brand new Nissans, only for $69 a month. Zero down, zero first month payments, and zero bank fees. Absolutely zero due at signings. Teddy, the Huggable Dealer, Volkswagen and Nissan in the Bronx, online at teddycars.com. Come in for a hug and choose from hundreds of new vehicles starting at just $69 a month. All from Teddy Nissan, the Huggable Dealer.
Hi, it's Colin Cowherd. Meetings are essential to the way we work. It's an opportunity to share ideas and problem solve, develop creative solutions. But if your team is spread out all over the country in different locations, coming together can be impossible unless you use GoToMeeting with HD Faces. It's a powerfully simple way to meet and collaborate online. I've seen how clear the HD video quality is. It is amazing. No matter where everybody's located. I was in Bristol, Connecticut. They were in Los Angeles. GoToMeeting allowed us to share the same screen, making it easier to be on the same page. And with built-in HD video conferencing, you see each other face-to-face. So easy to launch, so easy to join a meeting from anywhere, on any computer. In fact, you can use a tablet or your phone. And now you can present it from your iPad. Try GoToMeeting free for a month, 30 days. Special offer, visit GoToMeeting.com, click the Try It Free button, use the promo code Colin. Remember to use the promo code Colin. GoToMeeting. Meeting is believing. Hi, it's Colin. What a great show on Wednesday. What makes Jim Harbaugh a great coach? Why the firing of John Embry in Colorado was not racially motivated. Dwight Freeney and John Calipari. Wednesday, the Thundering Herd podcast. Download it right now. ESPNRadio.com.
College football on ESPN Radio and ESPNRadio.com. While Stanford just beat UCLA on Saturday, the Bruins had already clinched a spot in the Pac-12 title game, but the Cardinal needed the win to advance. Now they go head-to-head again, this time with a trip to the Rose Bowl on the line. The 16th-ranked UCLA Bruins at the 8th-ranked Stanford Cardinal, Friday at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPNRadio.com. Rookie sensation RG3.
He's the most exciting guy in pro football.
2-time Super Bowl MVP Eli Manning. Touchdown Giants. Monday, Washington tries to fight their way back into the playoff picture, while the defending champs are out to tighten their grip on the division title. A classic NFC East rivalry is renewed.
It's going to be a test of wheels, man.
Countdown gets it started at 6:30 Eastern. Then, Monday Night Football. Giants, Redskins, 8:30 on ESPN. It all comes down to Monday night. The Dave Rothenberg Show on ESPN New York, 98.7 FM.
Next in Milwaukee gets started in about 15 minutes from right now. Bill Daughtry, the Metro PCS pregame show. 8 o'clock tip in Milwaukee, and we discussed Brandon Jennings. That, for me, I mean, it's two guys on that team. Ilyasova makes me nervous. Dunleavy always seems to play well against the Knicks. And Brandon Jennings is a very dangerous guy, because this is a guy that sees the Knicks uniform and goes crazy. Now, we're going to get into Carmelo Anthony, and I know it's early on in the season, but David Thorpe, ESPN Insider, has a good article on whether Carmelo Anthony really should be considered an MVP of this league right now. He'll join us in just a moment. One thing I think you need to be very cognizant about with Carmelo Anthony is minutes, because I was so excited because there was so much depth on this club. But you have to remember, the Knicks are playing a lot of blowout games one way or the other, so you wouldn't see Carmelo get more than 35 minutes. And the other night he goes 50. That number gets me nervous. Mike Woodson addressed Melo's 50 minutes the other day with Stephen A. and Ryan Rucco.
Well, he played 50 minutes last night based on the circumstances of last night's game. His minutes, he's been averaging around 34, 35 minutes a game going into that, and that's where he needs to play. All the high-profile players like LeBron and Wade and Kobe and those guys, they're averaging right at that number, and that's where he needs to be. Last night was just different because of the overtime and the fact that we were a little shorthanded based on how they were playing their personnel. They played their starting units a lot of minutes as well. So, I can't sit Melo down in that situation based on the magnitude of the game and where we were, during the course of that ball game. But trust me, we're going to try to keep his minutes around 35 to 36 minutes a game, and everybody else continue to filter in and do what they've been doing, and we'll be just fine.
Listen, 35 is fine. 50 seems like a bit much. We'll see how he responds tonight as the Knicks take on the Milwaukee Bucks on the road in Milwaukee. Let's bring in David Thorpe, ESPN Insider. Has a good article you can read on ESPN.com. Carmelo Anthony for MVP, yes or no? What's up, Dave? How are you, man?
Hey, doing great. How are you tonight?
I'm good. All right, so I know you spent a lot of time researching stats and little pieces of information. What's your take early on in the season? Is Carmelo Anthony realistically an MVP kind of candidate?
No, and really my task was more just kind of figure out where he's at. The conventional wisdom suggests that he's, having this kind of special moment in time, and I just didn't see it. I think he's maybe playing the best he's ever played, but it's by a very slim margin, certainly not any kind of statistical anomaly that would suggest there's some kind of break in what he's doing. And I think he's got good teammates around him. I think he's being really well coached, and they're shooting the lights out, and that helps. But over the course of the season, I wouldn't think that he'd be considered amongst maybe top 15, maybe top 20 players. But he does have the upside to grow into that. He just never really done it before. He's never been more than just really a special scorer, and I don't see any difference now.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that about being the scorer. Is he, because people say MVP and it's thrown around all the time. Yeah. I look at Carmelo, and I don't necessarily see great player. I see a great scorer, and the rest of his game lacks in many other aspects.
Oh, 100%. It's always been that way. And that's I'm not knocking him if you're going to have one great talent to make much money in basketball, scoring probably is it. And so, God bless him. He's amazing, and his triple threat game is great. He's shooting it really well from the perimeter. He's quicker. He's always been quicker than people probably gave him credit for because of his body. He's going to be kind of soft, and not so much now, but he always had those great feet and quick handles, and he's got a little post game. But one of the things that I uncovered in studying him is he's getting more post ups than ever, but he's actually making less shots at the rim, and he's shooting the lowest percentage of his career at the rim because he used to get lots of cuts and seals, which really created angles for him to be almost uncontested on certain layups. As a post player, he's not getting that. Everything's contested. He was going into the last night's game, he was shooting 51.9% around the paint. That's extraordinarily average, and it's low for him. He's been above 60% many times in his career, and it also means he's not getting many free throws, which is a big part of why he was great in Denver. Really, he is kind of like his team. They slow the game down. New York is obviously a slow-playing team typically. They don't turn the ball over, which is great. They're the best in the league at that pretty much. And right now they're shooting it lights out. And as long as you shoot it lights out with a lot of guys that can shoot, you're going to be right there every night. If they don't continue that torrid shooting pace, you probably already know they lead the league in three-pointers made, three-pointers shot. They're top 3 in percentages. If that doesn't change, if that changes, they're not really rebounding, they're not really defending, and then I think no one talks about Melo as an MVP because he's not going to help them in those areas. At least he never has before.
Now, you have something really interesting in this article, and it seems different this year when you watch Carmelo Anthony, but what you put in here is that he's isolating more than he has in the past even.
Yeah, that comes from the post, right? So one of the things that Denver, in fact, I was just talking to some people breaking down George Karl in Denver. George runs a beautiful ball movement offense. The ball is flying around. Now, it got sticky with Carmelo, but not as sticky because George really wants the ball to fly all over the place to create great angles and create 2-on-1s and that kind of thing. It's what Denver's done in a long time, and they've frequently been a top 5 and top 10 offensive team. Even without Carmelo, they were doing that. It's different now. He's just locked, and he's a four-man. He's a power forward, and he's good in the post. He's just not finishing great. The one thing I'll say, his defense is it's kind of a new thing for him. So he's making, let's say, 52% of his post-ups in the paint now. Let's allow him to grow into that as he gets more accustomed to having to score in that kind of situation with double teams coming with his back to the basket more than ever before. And maybe he grows that number to 55, 56%. And maybe he starts getting fouled more frequently far more frequent than what he's getting now because he learns, the new position better. Then all of a sudden, he's no MVP candidate because, again, there's no rebounding, defense, passing. There's really nothing else that sets him apart. And he's certainly not the best scorer in the league when you got guys like LeBron and certainly KD. So he's a very good player on a team that's playing very well. So it's easy to say MVP, but the numbers just don't back it up at all.
All right. Appreciate the time, Dave. You say Carmelo not an MVP candidate. I tend to agree with you, but we appreciate it. We'll check in with you down the road.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. David Thorpe, ESPN Insider, says, and I have to agree, I think he's been wonderful, but I still look at Carmelo as an offensive player. I still do. I still look at that game as not being completely well-rounded. And, you talk about Carmelo as an MVP, and I know that's been the chant of the other night at the Barclays Center. You can't compare, for me, and I like him, but you can't compare Carmelo Anthony to LeBron James. They're not in the same stratosphere right now. Gio Brooklyn, how much did the Knicks miss Jason Kidd tonight, Gio?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Jason Kidd was absolutely missed for a couple of reasons. Number one, his ability to get the ball to the right person at the right time. Also, to interchange him and Feldman so they get rest, especially in an overtime game, a close game like that. That's important. And I want to talk about Novak. I love Novak, but he needs to change his game a little bit.
This is his game, though.
He's got a little bit more muscle, a little aggressive. Show other teams a different side to him.
Well, he is the most one-dimensional player on this club. What do you want him to do?
Get a little muscle, get a little more aggressive, let other teams know, hey, I don't just shoot threes.
But that is all he does. I mean, I could say, you want me in a swimwear competition, but you want me to talk sports. You want him to shoot threes. That's it.
I know, but if he just got a little, a pump fake here or there.
If Tyson Chandler developed a 15-foot jumper, then he'd be a legitimate offensive center in this game. Why is it always that we got to give Novak a hard time? Tyson Chandler cannot shoot anything outside of 6 feet from the basket, but Novak is the guy that has to change his game. This is what he was. This is exactly what the guy has always been. He's a lights-out shooter who's very limited elsewhere. Richard in Manhattan, Carmelo MVP or not MVP in your eyes, Richard?
No, not an MVP, Dave. He's only a scorer. He doesn't rebound. I mean, not that great. He doesn't play great defense. I'd go with a guy right now, Zach Randolph, second in the league in rebounding. Their team is 10-2. And you know who else I would take over Carmelo right now?
Who?
I'd take James Harden. Look what he's doing with that team. That's a team of nobodies. They're
He's a tremendous
7-7.
talent. He's a tremendous talent.
Did you see the box score in the Houston game yesterday, Dave? I've never seen this all these years. Harden and Lynn both had double-digit assists. I've never seen two starting guards have double-digit assists.
You've never seen two starting guards have double-digit assists?
Not recently, at least recently, no. Two guards getting 10 and 12 they had. That's pretty amazing.
Well, it's a good number, but I don't think it's unprecedented that two guards, wind up with double-digit assists, especially when those guys are really, two of your best three offensive threats on Houston. Philip in Brooklyn, what's your take on Carmelo, Philip?
Oh, Carmelo is definitely in the running for MVP. Let me just say this: when nobody compares to LeBron James, and people talk about Kevin Durant.
What do you mean? What do you mean, you people?
No, I'm not you. I said there are people that all they do is talk about, all he does is all he is a scorer. There's a lot of guys in the league that went for MVPs that were nothing but scorers. Kevin Durant, that's all he does is score. And please don't bring up James Harden, because Harden disappeared in the finals last year. Disappeared.
I understand.
So all that scoring he's doing right now, that doesn't mean nothing. That's like the Atlanta Falcons winning in the regular season. Let's see what you do in the postseason.
But it's not a postseason award. There are two different MVPs. There's a regular season MVP and there's a postseason MVP, NBA Finals MVP.
But I'm saying, for somebody to say, well, how many people have won MVPs and they were basically just scorers? You are not going to find another LeBron James.
I understand. LeBron is a 1 in a million. I'll be back on with Alan Hahn after the Knicks game in Milwaukee.
I'm a good gift giver. No, a fantastic gift giver. What do I get in return? An unnecessary cheek pinch. I deserve more. So this year, I'm giving Buffalo Wild Wings gift cards. For every $25 I spend, I can get a blazing bonus worth up to $100. So the next time I hear, "Oh, that's so sweet," it better be referring to honey barbecue sauce. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. No purchase necessary. Must be 18 or older. Valid in restaurant at participating locations only, and void in Florida, New York, Rhode Island, and where prohibited by law. Ends 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on December 31st, 2012. See official rules at BuffaloWildWings.com for restrictions and details.
Hey, Mike and Mike here, and listen, if you're still relying on going to the post office for all your postal needs, you need to know there's a much better way. That's Stamps.com. Take it from us. Stamps.com will change the way you do your mailing and your shipping.
With Stamps.com, you won't waste any more time making trips to the post office. You can access all the services of the post office 24/7 without ever leaving your desk. Buy and print official U.S. postage using your own computer and printer. Print postage for any letter or package. Then you just hand it to the mailman. You'll never have to go to the post office again or lease an expensive postage meter.
So you'll save yourself a bunch of time. And then if you just remember our name is Mike, you're going to save yourself a bunch of money as well. Here's how. Use the name Mike for a no-risk trial. It's a $110 bonus offer that includes a digital scale and up to $55 in free postage. But don't waste time. Do it now. Go to Stamps.com. Before you do anything else, click on the radio microphone at the top of the homepage and enter our name, Mike. That's Stamps.com and enter Mike. Save time, save money. With Stamps.com, why wouldn't you try it?
Wednesday, ESPN Radio Sports Beat time. Hi, everyone. This is Mike Tirico. When is a loss a win? I say right now for the ACC. Maryland left along with Rutgers to the Big Ten. Louisville comes in. Right now, and probably for the next 5 years, maybe 10, I say advantage ACC. Louisville has Rick Pitino. Charlie Strong has built a very good football program at Louisville. Their athletics budget far outpaces what the annual income is from the conference. The Big East TV share very poor. I'll get to the Big East in a second. So as Maryland, which has recently cut teams, replenishes its athletic department with the money from the Big Ten. And there's going to be more money coming down the pike when the Big Ten negotiates its rights outside of the Big Ten network. Then maybe we'd say Maryland and the bigger markets of D.C. and Washington will be an overall win in competitive nature. For now, Louisville's a bigger advantage for the ACC and keeps the basketball league strong on par with the Big Ten. Now, the biggest loser in all this, Connecticut. Their closest football rival is now Cincinnati. Both of those schools were desperate in trying to get the ACC to fill in the Maryland slot with them. Now those schools have to wait and hope that there's another level of expansion, package themselves together. Otherwise, they're going to be playing conference games down at Tulane, San Diego State, and be part of that conference that's best described right now as other. Big rule change in golf today. 3 of the last 5 major championships won by players using a variety of the belly putter. But now a new rule. It's going to come into effect in about 3 years or so. You can't anchor the putter against your body or put it up against your chin. USGA and the RNA made that rule change today. Where I look at the interesting part, the PGA Tour may change this rule sooner, but what about you? If you play golf at home, very often you play by the same rules and the same rule book as the tour players do and players around the world. Maybe it's time for that to change so the recreational player can still have his long putter. With ESPN Radio Sports Beat, this is Mike Tirico.